All right, week 7 college football breakdown here. Saturday night in the swamp. That's what college football is all about. We got LSU traveling to Gainesville, taking on the Gators of Florida. Florida at home, a short 2.5-point favorite, and a pretty low total in the spot at 50.5. These are two teams coming in very similar situations. Two first-year head coaches. I think both have shown some good things this year, but both of these first-year head coaches are dealing with things that first-year head coaches deal with. Both these teams have issues. I've been probably more outspoken about LSU throughout the season, but let's not forget, I played Florida under the 7 wins preseason. So these are two teams that I did have some concerns about coming into the year. I think we've kind of seen that play out early, and I think we'll probably see it play out even more so throughout the rest of the season. My main gripe with LSU, and it's very, very clear, their offensive line is atrocious. I bet against them last week against Tennessee. That was a terrible line, and I think we saw that play out. Their offensive line is going to give them no shot in some of these games. I'm not saying that's the case here. I mean, I've seen Jaden Daniels, their quarterback, get some criticism, and yes, he could probably be more decisive. He could probably take some more shots, but playing behind a bad offensive line is going to make any quarterback's life really, really hard. Daniels has good overall numbers this year, but if you take away the game against Southern, if you take away the game against New Mexico, I mean, he's right around 6 yards per attempt against Power 5 competition. That's not good. LSU is incredibly mediocre at that running back position. I mean, they got a walk-on right now, and Josh Williams really kind of, taking that RB1 role. That's not ideal. People love to talk about their receiver talent. Yes, they're talented. I don't think they get a whole lot out of that talent. Kayshon Boutte is incredibly inconsistent. Jere Jenkins leaves a lot of plays on the field. So, I'm not particularly high on LSU in this spot. Florida's a team that my concerns about them defensively are probably going to play out as the year goes on. I just don't think they have very good depth. For instance, I think their front line guys along their defensive line, pretty good. But if those guys go down, watch out. So with them healthy in this matchup, they should be able to take advantage of a bad LSU offensive line. And, Florida's strength defensively is their secondary. I just have a hard time seeing Jaden Daniels be able to torch this Gator defense through the air. On the other side, though, Anthony Richardson is incredibly inconsistent as a passer. We've seen him at his best. He played pretty well against Utah in that season opener. He played well against Tennessee. I mean, he played really well against Tennessee. No doubt about that. Against Kentucky, against South Florida, and then even last week against Missouri, Billy Napier just doesn't trust him right now through the air consistently. When teams are able to bottle him up into the pocket and take away his best asset, which is his legs, we've seen him be pretty ineffective. I think LSU can do that. I still do like what LSU has up front, especially on the interior. I think they're plenty good enough at within their linebacking core to be able to do that. The one issue with LSU defensively I have, I guess, is their secondary. I mean, we even saw it against Auburn, who is not a team that's going to torch a lot of teams deep. They did catch LSU by surprise a few times early in that game a few weeks ago. And it's just a unit that I don't think is up to LSU standard, much like the offensive line, much like the running back position. People see LSU and assume a certain standard. It's not there right now with the secondary. So, maybe Anthony Richardson can, strike deep a few times, but I think for the most part, LSU's defense should have success in this game. I will say the one thing about Florida that surprised me, their running backs are playing pretty well. I thought they were solid coming into the year, but I kind of thought they'd be more like what we've seen from LSU's backs. No, I mean, Trevor Etienne, true freshman, has played well. Montrell Johnson, transfer from Louisiana, came over with Napier. He's played really well too. I think Florida is probably going to have the easier time establishing the running game in this one. I would lean towards Florida in this spot. I really don't feel good enough about Florida to bet this, but a pretty sizable lean here towards the Florida Gators. I think the better way to play this probably is the under. Florida's played at a very slow pace this year. We saw that from Rob Sale back and Billy Napier back last year at Louisiana. It's not really a team that likes to push the pace. I think LSU's pace numbers are a little bit skewed because Mike Denbrock from Cincinnati was kind of the same way, and just Brian Kelly's tendencies. I think this game is probably going to be played in the 40s. Given my concerns about each offense, as I stated in this video, I do think we're going to see enough ineffective play to where this should stay under the total. Big game, competitive game. Shouldn't be too many cheap points in this one. I think 50.5 is probably a tick too high. I'd probably make it more 48.5. I don't know if I'm going to get to the window with this officially, but my best look on this game, Saturday night in the swamp, is towards the under 50.5. And once again, if I had to play a side, I would lean with the Gators here. All right, guys, before we get out of here, I know you see this shirt right here. If you're in the market for some new golf apparel, check out Proud 90 Golf. Unique, very comfortable polos as well. With the cold weather coming, they've also got a great selection of hoodies and quarter zips. If you see anything you like, at proud90.com, use my promo code Fordham at checkout. It's going to get you 15% off your order. Check the description for more information.